Ba, 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 bow. Cupcake power! Hello, I am Cupcake Conjurer, here to say, free hands! Free hands for everybody. Get your free hands. I'm a bit tall. What's going on here? I'm not fitted on the screen. Bum, 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 ba-dum, 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 bum. Hi. Hello. How you doing? There we go. I think I might have accidentally changed stuff. Well, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. It's fine Tuesday morning. Yay. It's not a Tuesday morning. It's actually a Sunday afternoon. Going into the evening soon. Well, for me it is. For you guys, maybe not, maybe so. I don't know. But I hope you're having a good day regardless of what day it is, what time it is, and whatever else you've got going on. I've not been. It's been okay. It's a very slow day today. I did some Japanese. I still need to do more. Mostly just revision now. I'm on to the revision part of the lessons. So I've learned over 500 words now. And that's basically, and a bunch of grammar rules. That's like basic the beginning of the entire thing. Japanese for beginners. So now I'm just trying to nail that down before moving on to the proper, syllabus. N5, I think it's called. Yeah, it goes. I got N5, N4, N3, N2, N1. N1 is like extremely advanced. N2 is basically when you've started to gain fluency in the language. N1 is basically an expert at it. N3 is you can understand most of what people are saying most of the time. And you might have some broken speech. Well, you're probably not fluent when it comes to talking. You probably have a lot of broken speech or whatever. And if someone's speaking quickly, you won't be able to catch everything they're saying. And there might be a bunch of words that you just don't know anyway. But probably not. Japanese, like most languages, you've only got about 10,000 to 15,000 words that, are used in daily life. It's like the first 500 I've learned. It's like the most common words. Well, it's not all of the most common words, but a lot of the most common words. So yeah, it's interesting. N4 is basically when you've started to get a grasp of a language. You can understand people if they're speaking slow, simple words. Basically the same level that a child would be at. Although you probably have a slightly higher reading skill than a normal child would, do a young child. And N5 is basically just literally for beginner stuff. You can understand extremely simple, very slow sentences. And you can probably not speak Japanese much beyond basic greetings and saying things like sumimasen. I am a bit cheaty though, because I learnt about 5,000 kanji at one point, a few years ago, when I was doing manga. And I had, I had to communicate with Japanese people, especially when it came to buying materials, trying to get access to special brushes, pens, and inks, for use in manga and manga paper, and especially things like screen tone, because those are things that aren't as easy to get over here, especially the types of screen tone I wanted to use. And then just talking to editors and stuff. But most of that's done through messages. And while, Google Translate could help a little bit, I still need to be able to read a lot of it. And I still need to be able to write simple sentences. Which is useful. But then, that came to an end a few years ago. And then I stopped watching as much anime and stuff as well. Probably connected. But then, so my ability to learn Japanese, it completely fell off. And I was never good at the spoken word of it, speaking it myself, understanding when people are speaking. I did try using Duolingo, but it sucked so badly. And I had so many mistakes in it. And this was before we got the AI, and apparently it's gotten worse since then. Yeah, there was so much issues with it that in the end I just decided to download an app that had every single kanji in, and then I just started studying them and learning about the radicals. The radicals! Basically how kanji are made, what they're made from, and it turns out that that's completely pointless. You don't need to do that. Well, actually, it depends. I've been looking at some stuff recently and people have been saying, you need to learn the radicals, you need to learn them. And I'm like, maybe not. I'm ignoring kanji now. I'm mostly focusing on, you know, speaking and listening. If I'm using an app, so that's mostly written. Oh, but it's difficult. Learning a new language is hard. It's hard. Yeah. I mean, I got so bad that at one point I was really, really good at the hiragana and katakana. I could read it almost as quickly as normal reading. I actually found katakana much easier than hiragana. But when I came back, I was like, yeah, I barely remember. I remember ki. I remember wa and n, because n is the same as an n. And if it's a, I know that one. And I knew for hiragana. It's a bit weird because I learned katakana first, because that's like, foreign words are usually written in katakana. And most of the time when I was like having to speak or whatever, you know, or writing, especially when it comes to things like manga and so on, there's just so many foreign adopted words there that you pretty much need to learn the katakana first. So I got a hand of that when I was first learning to read, long before I started, like, really got a good hang of hiragana. But when I came back, hiragana I picked up easily. Having katakana, it took me a while. It's very weird. I'm still not at a level where I can read it quickly, though. Oh, I'm getting there. I've been trying to watch Overlord with Japanese subtitles on, and that's been helping actually trying to learn how to read it quickly. Again. So I'm not just randomly talking about Japanese right now. Season 3 on Netflix, it doesn't have Japanese subtitles. It's like, what? No, and the English subtitles are not accurate. I feel like maybe if the subtitles of the English dub, not for the, you know, an actual translation of what the Japanese characters are saying, or the Japanese voice actors. Because from what I can understand, it's not a direct translation. In fact, it's very far from a direct translation. It doesn't really help. Although it can get across the idea of what they're saying. If I am struggling, where they completely lost me. So I just go back, read the subtitles, go back again and try listening, going, okay, there should be some words there that I at least recognise. If I don't recognise them, yeah. But for then this morning, I was listening to a really cool song. I was like, and then I saw that YouTuber just automatically put the subtitles on, which were direct translation of the lyrics. And I'm like, apparently, according to this, there should be a lot of words that I recognise here, but I do not recognise. It's like, is she saying those words? And it's like, just going back, listening, going back, listening, going back, listening, going back, listening. I'm like, oh, there's words there. She is saying them. She's just saying them really quickly. And it's like, what the heck? What the heck? I have no idea. Oh. Yeah. I'm making progress. I'm making progress. Oh yeah, but that's not why my day is being bad. I've had a slow day because my tummy was upsetty spaghetti. And I wanted to do exercises, but then I didn't. And then I wanted to get my hair. And then I was like done. And I was like, oh, my hair's got no volume to it. Why? Actually, I put it in a style very similar to how my hair is right now, actually. Actually, wait a minute. Let me get rid of those. Yeah, I'm not a cat. I'm not a cat. You can't make me a cat. Yeek. Okay. What are we doing? I've got, oh darn it, I forgot to get water. I was meant to get water. I mean, you can't make waves without water. No, it's my Citadel paint pot. water pot. It's meant to have water in. It's got a tiny bit of water. It's not enough water. It needs way more water than that. This is a very abused paint pot. Stop being abused. But here's what we worked on yesterday. And we also did this back part yesterday too. It's looking okay. It's looking okay. The roof, I don't know what. Do we want to paint the roof black? Do we want to try doing more wave on top of it? Like if we look down at it. I had the idea of maybe trying to make it look like a koi pond, but that would be very difficult. I mean, I struggled drawing that as a koi. Can you tell it's a koi? Wait, where's my, It's a koi fish. A very koi fish. Yeah, it's meant to be a koi fish. Yeah, it's not very good. You can see just how many mistakes I've made painting this thing. Like, look at all those white gaps on the red there. If you're wondering about this section here, it's where the gun goes. Where the weapon goes, it goes. And since you don't knock off the weapons anymore when you shoot them, there's no point in, you know, painting that area. It looks nice, I guess. Is it worth the effort I put into doing this? 2 streams worth so far to make all of those waves? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Ow, ow, ow. Sorry, my hair caught in my necklace. Ow, it's still catching in my necklace. What the heck? There we go. There we go. My hair's not having a nice day today. It's not very happy. There we go. Is there anything new on the website? No, it's Sunday, isn't it? There won't be anything new on the website. Sad. What do we do? What do we want to do? How is everyone doing for? I hope you're doing well. So things we need to do today, paint waves onto these bits here, I think. Maybe onto here as well. That could work. These bits here, nah, I think they're fine. This, I don't want to paint waves on. I'll just do highlights on it. Then all that'll be left to do with this model is to highlight the metal, highlight the red. Maybe neaten it up in some areas. This area is already highlighted. I like the look of it. It's all oily and grimy. Feels very accurate. Maybe in some of these areas I need to do a bit more work. Where I missed it. Yeah. Hi, Douglas Pendergraft. Good morning to you too. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Yeah, Cuptle, you're doing well, aren't you? Cuptle's doing well. Oh, I'm wondering what the pre-orders will be on the Games Workshop website coming next week. I imagine the Made for Order Skaven will be coming next week. Maybe Red Terror will come next week. Because Red Terror's not got a single release yet. Spectre Squad did. But not Red Terror. Okay, people were suggesting, I think last time, that we put rocks onto the legs. Like as in paint rocks on them. I'm not sure. I think that would be very difficult to do. I'd have to do very solid, very defined lines. I'm not sure how to do that. Also, we need to redo these lenses a bit. Oh, and then you need to do the Mechanicus symbols, which are going to be the same as these Mechanicus symbols. So white and red. I actually still show that better. I'll have to turn this light off. There you go. Yeah, you can see it. It'll be like that. Oof. My tiny brush is getting a lot of work with this model, but I'll BRB quickly so I can put some water in my water pot because I forgot about that. Yeah, my body is really not happy today. What the heck? Moving very slowly. There you go. Okay, get the hair out of the way. Hair in the way. Get the tiny brush. And where's my Laferne Blue? My Laferne Blue is over here. Lafernigan. If you ever watched Scrubs, you might get that joke. Lafernigan. She had a character called Laverne, and when the actress came back to the show as a different nurse. The character Laverne was on the show. She was a nurse. Then she went away, but then she came back as Lafernigan. Well, actually, she was a completely different person, but looked just like Laverne because it was the exact same actress. And then they called her Lafernigan. Lafernigan. Blue, 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 blue. Did I already do some blue highlighting here? I might have. But we'll get ourselves some Laferne blue. Laferne is actually, I think, the colour is based on Warhammer Elf Faction. High Elf, I believe. Or is it for Forest of Laferne? In which case it might be a Wood Elf faction it's inspired by, I can't remember. I know it's Old World Elf Fantasy. So we'll just get the general shape of the waves down. Only mistakes are fine at this section because mistakes are fine. Don't worry about it. Don't want to have the waves higher up actually. I mean, I could try painting rocks at the bottom. Then like nah. We'll do the waves here. And yeah, we'll keep them roughly at this height, I guess. Oh, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday, every single day is Sunday for you. We're doing Sunday stuff. Oh, Sundays are difficult. I never really liked Sundays. They're like meant to be days off, but for days where you got like, you're often having to do work, you have to go to sleep at a good time because you'll have school in the morning or work or whatever. Sundays suck. Saturday and Fridays were good days. I also liked Wednesday. I know it's midweek, but it's like you're already halfway through the week. Good school clubs run on Wednesdays. Teachers don't like doing tests on Wednesdays. Or maybe they do. I don't know. I can't really remember. Ba, 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 ba. We are the champions of the world. Do, 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 do. Okay, we'll just paint blue on all of these. We'll do all of these at once. Maybe not this central part. Central part. Isn't that the cafe that the Friends cast went to? I say the Friends cast. The Friends characters. Which included that guy from Fallout New Vegas, the guy who shoots you in the face. That's where he's famous from, right? The video game. Chandler Bing. If everyone is fancy. Yeah, Japanese. I don't know what inspired me to learn Japanese again. Like, I've not been watching much anime. Well, I did start watching JoJo again. Big hugs to you. Big hugs back to you, Douglas. Yeah, I mean, I guess I did watch JoJo's recently. Maybe that was, like, inherently just triggered me with wanting to be like, yeah, it's been a while since I learned Japanese. Maybe I should give it a go again. I think it's also partly just because I wanted to be more active and doing stuff. And, you know, Japanese, learning a language, it trains your brain. It gets you into routines. I've already have like an appointment with a beauty salon on Tuesday. Yeah, it's only a 20-minute appointment. I'm kind of concerned. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And it's too warm. And you have air conditioner on. It's been raining today. It's been windy, but it's been warm still. At least my bedroom's been getting extremely warm. Ba 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 ba. For this work, I don't actually need a magnifying glass. I don't think. Sometimes, when you're doing art, the big picture, the big picture is. I just want to tell you, it'll always be on your stream. Thank you, Douglas. Right, you don't always have to be here. Remember to take care of yourself and stuff. It's important to take care of yourself too. Hi, Kundrel. This is so dope. Thank you. You like the koi fish I tried to try. It's something. It's something. Hi, Kundrel. Yeah. When it comes to art, your best thing to do is focus on the big picture, not the small picture. Like if you're doing digital art, avoid zooming in. If you're doing miniature art, you don't need to be focused with a magnifying glass on it, especially if you're doing freehand like this. It's often better not to be using your magnifying glass. Only use it when there's like some very specific details or an absolute must. One of the major things I always will say is I once, well actually, when I did my original VTuber model, I didn't draw this one, but I did draw what this one's inspired by. And I had two versions of it originally. One version, I put this really, really, really nice texture onto a coat that otherwise wasn't very good. But you couldn't see the texture. The texture just became completely invisible on the model. Well, not quite. And it looked awful. And there's been a bunch of art where it's been very similar, where I've put like a texture onto something. I've spent ages painting something. And you just can't see what I've actually been working on because it was just too minor detail, too hidden, too subtle. And I could have gotten a much better effect without putting anywhere near as much work into it. And that's basically what I think, personally, I think is the most important aspect when doing art. It's that keep your focus on the big picture. Tiny mistakes are going to go unnoticed. If they can see the brush strokes, that's fine. In fact, you see some art where they do like a defocusing effect, where the further you get away from where they actually want your eye to focus, the less detailed they'll actually be with the artwork, until when you get to the very outer edges, you can literally just see thick brush strokes making rough shapes. And not only does that save time, but the thick, when you look at the art properly, your eye will be drawn to the center where it needs to be, or to the parts of the painting where it wants you to focus on, and everything beyond that, you're only going to get a vague understanding of it, so the vague shapes are good enough. As long as you're not. But if you start putting details everywhere, then your eye is going to get drawn everywhere, and it's going to make the picture feel busy and terrible. It's the same with these waves, I guess. There's not actually much detail in them. There's a lot of brush strokes on them. I guess it does look a bit busy. Especially with all of these, how I'm going to be doing all of this. But yeah, those are all important things. It's like it can be applied to any type of art, whether it's freehanding, whether it's even just your miniatures in general. You don't need to do every single detail. You don't have to make everything look great. You don't have to do all of the edge highlights. It can help. But often, as they say, less is more. Yes, I was an actual artist for a while. I've been a physicist, an artist, stuff I can't talk about. Oh yeah, I did a schedule. I forgot. I should show the schedule. I'd completely forgotten to do a schedule before the stream. I just started writing a story because I was feeling inspired after watching Overlord while I was eating my food. There we go. Close that thing. My gosh, these paint pots, I don't want to close. Do I have an image here? No, it's over here. We go over here. Smack! And then I can click, hopefully, if it's working correctly. This button, yeah, look at that. Cinch time. So cinch time. So tomorrow we're going to be building a burning chariot. And if we've got time, some burning horrors, some blue horrors and some brimstone horrors. Then we're going to be working on play cooks for 2 days. So basically I've got some soul grinders. I'm going to build them and I'm going to throw a bunch of clay and modelling putty at them and try turning them into play cooks. Then on Friday, we're going to be playing Rogue Trader again. And over the weekend, we'll be back to painting, maybe doing basing, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing next week. So how are you doing, Kundral, anyway? I hope you're having a great day. We need some Battle of Blue. The thing is, I'm still not great at actually painting miniatures, like doing highlights and shading on them. Like trying to do various things. I think I mess it up a lot. It turns out my art skills still work for doing freehanding. All those years spent making manga, maybe it wasn't wasted. Oh gosh, it's because it's on a curve. I can't get it sharp as I want it to be. Yeah. Oh, whatever. Gosh, painting the wrong thing there. There we go. So we're getting some definition of the wave. Get some waves over here. Oops, that went into red. That's fine. I'll take this off anyway. I don't need it on. Just getting in the way. Oh, the air conditioner's getting a bit cold now. I'm getting a breeze on my back and I don't like it. Breezy, easy breezy lemon squeezy. There we go. And we paint along here. We do this. We just highlight the waves we've already got going on. Hi, miniature painter AL. Up from Australia, love the waves of the Crab Sentinel. I assume, yeah, it's Dune Crawler. And yes, they are waves. That's meant to be a kraken. And the waves are inspired by the Great Wave art. And that's meant to be a koi fish. And it's a bit more obvious with a magnifying glass on it, but it's still not great. Amazing, thank you. We're doing waves on the leggy legs at the moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the top. I feel like I need to do something now because I originally just threw contrast paint at it because I'm still experimenting with contrast paints. I was like, I don't like how it looks. I tried neating it up with some Techless blue. I'm unsure. I might just paint the entire top black to match the background here. But there have been other ideas, for instance, like painting the waves as seen from above. Or maybe like trying to paint a koi fish pond on top of it. Maybe some cloud patterns, possibly of the top of the same style. Could do. A koi fish would definitely be extremely difficult to do with all of these extra details. I don't want to really do that one. I do feel like it makes the rest of the models look a bit bad though. Because originally I wanted to go for like on the cloaks to give them a kind of rolling wave effect on them, like the folds of the coats of the waves themselves. Rather not doing proper freehanding. But trying to give like just the effect of like looking at water from above, like the ripples of water. Some of them came out better than others. I just wanted to set a sort of effect, and you know, for their armor and stuff, it's instead peach color. But when it came to doing this model, it looked awful on this model, which resulted in deciding to do freehanding, and then is a small space with lots of details, so anything would be a tricky task. With what I'm seeing, it will look amazing anyway. Thank you. I hope so. I hope it'll look good. I'm kind of happy with the way the legs are now. I just need to get into some of the areas where I didn't quite reach it with the contrast paint to use, skeleton hard. Maybe put a bit more highlights on it. Because I really like the oily effect it has in all the mechanisms. Like, despite everything that the Mechanicus have done to try and make it look nice, of a tech piece, it's still a machine of war, and it's still going to be covered in filth and oil. Holy oil, but still. There we go. Creeping away, dancing waves. Clouds. Clouds could work. Might be another wave. Trying to paint along these curves is actually a lot harder than I expected. Making the brush be going a lot thicker than I wanted to in a lot of these areas. But it's all a learning experience, it's fine. There we go. Need some more stuff down here. Oh. We'll use Laverne Blue to get our rough look of the wave. This will be highlight. With some Bahalov Blue. Definitely gonna need to go back over for red anyway. Gives me Japanese model of sea creatures, which I had steady hands of freehanding. Wish you had steady hands of freehanding. It depends what you're freehanding. Like this sort of stuff, you don't actually need, like painting waves, landscapes and stuff, extremely uneven. Like they're not uniform, so you don't, there's not many straight lines on it. So honestly, you can just work with the shakiness of your hand. I mean, that's exactly how I'm doing some of these waves, just letting my hand do its shakiness. Like this, I didn't think I could do freehanding before this. When it comes to like trying to do more jagged, like very uniform, straight things, a steady hand is important. But yeah, if you're doing nature, like waves especially, you don't need one. Especially if you're doing like full large models. My hand is not super steady itself. I think the legs is difficult though. You just want to make sure, I always say, for keeping your body, your hands steady, you want your elbows secure, like on your desk or whatever. You want your wrists, if you can keep them on the desk, you want your wrists on the desk. Maybe see what my little finger's doing here. It's staying on the model. This leg here is staying on the ground. So then, so it's all basically my hands have as much support as possible, and then if I can do my fingers supporting it so here. So then my hand stays a lot steadier. When I do get shakes in my hand, it's like one shaking of this hand shakes the model, and shaking of this hand shakes my hand with a brush. So any shaking I have will be mitigated by the fact that, you know, we're all touching one another. I have tremors, so most freehanding is a struggle in general. Oh, understandable. I get tremors sometimes, but thankfully I don't get tremors too bad. I do have to take a break from painting every so often because I do start getting what's it called? Pain in my hands, and that causes my hands to shake a lot more. Yeah, when I was doing a lot of art, it wasn't miniature art, but it was still like, I did traditional manga work, and my hands got really bad tremors and stuff in all of that, really bad pains in my hands. And one of the reasons why I ended up stopping at the end, along with writing. Like even at a computer, it got really that bad, I couldn't write properly. But yeah, a lot of the ideas of how to stop the tremors in painting a miniature is pretty much the exact same as I would do for working on my manga. But thankfully, it's not really an issue I have to deal with too much. Yeah, when it comes to these, like a lot of this wasn't done purposeful. Like, where is it? This big splash over here was just an absolute mess. I just kept messing up with it. And in the end, I just turned it into a kraken. Hello, Rainbow Dash. How you doing? And the saying goes here, a lot of the big splashes is just where I tried making waves, and I just messed up really badly, and I just turned it into a splash. I think this one I actually did purposefully though, because I liked how the others turned out. Yeah. If there's anything you can do if you've got very shaky hands or tremors or whatever, waves is probably one way you can actually make it work with you. Especially if you do it more stylized. Hand cramping always makes tremors worse. Oof. There we go. My main one at the moment, with actually my hands getting bad, is I think more related to hunger or tiredness at the moment. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out though how to do good highlighting. I've been trying to learn with these guys how to do it better. And I thought I was doing well. And then I did this model. And I was doing this one off stream, all of the highlights and the metal, and I messed it up. I was trying to work when I really should have just been doing something. Oh, I still need to fix this up. I forgot about that. And I should have been doing something else. But yeah, you can see where it's just like here is where I was trying to do just edging of an everywhere. And over here, it's a mess. I need to go back over and just redo it all. I guess it doesn't look too bad on that side. I guess with some work I could actually salvage this side. I think that one was actually a mistake, but it actually looks good. It looks like the reflections, you know, metal. Yeah. There we go. What do I need now? I need white. Yeah, okay. Need to definitely wash my brush before doing white paint. There we go. White scar. I love white scar. So much better than Corvex white. I know some people don't like white scar. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Oh yeah, proposal tonight. I'm just using Citadel paints. These are the main colours involved in it. These are the main colours. Palisar blue was the base I did, which then I tried fixing up with Teclis blue. And then Laferne blue to do the rough idea of where the waves will be. I have a blue to highlight and define them a little. And then of a foam, which defines them even more. And then Abaddon black. All of my paints pretty much are just watered down in the bottle, thinned down in the bottle, which have a bit more full than they otherwise would be. Using some Lamia medium Lamia medium. Yes, such a good thing. It's like magic. If you ever want to thin down your paints and you don't want to use water, Lamia medium is amazing. It keeps the consistency of the colour. And I just put it straight into a pot, shake it up. It's also good for salvaging dead paint. You know, ones where if they start drying out. I found doesn't always work, but it does help. Oh gosh, this curve is ruining it. And hi, kai hi, and hi, kai hi. Do 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 do. Sorry, I've been listening to some I've been listening to music, and they always get stuck in my head. Oh no! There we go. That's good. Do 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 do. Darn it. That's fine. It looks fine. Yeah. Ah, I'm messing up. Yeah, this is the hardest part of the trying to do the waves. These curves are beating me a bit. Because the white is where you get some of the definition. That's where the foam comes from. If you go on too heavy, it will look weird. But again, mistakes. We can just paint over mistakes if they're too bad. And sometimes the mistakes work with us. It's fine. Ah! It's fine. It's fine. It looks fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, maybe I can do a swirl here. Can I do a swirl? Will it look good? I don't. That looks terrible. Oh no. Oh no. Oh yeah, I forgot. I used my Crag Blue. I used my Crag Blue to do the dark parts of the model. I forgot about that. The deal where you got the darker waves. That's like the... Oh gosh, I just messed up. It's really hard trying to judge the depth of this. Ah, it's fine. Oh gosh. Actually, that looks fine. Yeah, it looks... I mean, actually, no, there's a line going just all the way across there now. Maybe I can work with it. Now, I just use a next coat to figure it out. You know, it's fine. And now I have to work around a spike. I was originally using some great wave inspired. So, you know where people say this it has a very, you know, Japanese or, you know, Asian feel to it. It's I'm inspired by the great wave art, which is like the famous wave art for it. I'm more accurately inspired by art that's inspired by
So I'm making progress on my Vlkakahu aka the Space Bears, a homebrew Space Wolves successor based on the Finnish beer Kahu, not taking it.
I'm making progress on my Ikakahu, aka Space Bears, a homebrew space rule successor based on the Finnish bear. Kalu, not taking it too seriously. Oh, so it's like bear werewolves? Werebears? Werebears! Like in Skyrim! What's that, hi, K-Tux? What models are you using to get for bears? Because I don't know, does Games Workshop do any bear models? I know they used to do, but for like really ancient old metal ones. Are you using 3D prints for it? Or other model companies? Got the idea from a comment on a short done by a heresy for Heretics, where he said space means based on Iron Brew. Iron Brew! Iron Brew is a great drink. Great Scottish drink it is. Made from girders. I kind of wish I was more inventive with my Space Marines. Kind of regret just making them pretty much just Templars, but richer and nicer. They were actually meant to be a paw chapter, but I just painted so much gold onto them. And I just got so many of them. I can't really get away with calling them a paw chapter anymore. Yeah, Heresy for Heretics didn't like Iron Brew. And you should find a short, it's really funny. I used Master of the Hunt for major minis and then green stuff to modify the head to be a bear. Oh, okay, that sounds cool. You should post a finished project on audio, pictures of a project on the Discord page. There you go. Oh gosh, I'm not doing well with this wave. Oh, my hand. I'm messing up. It's fine. This is why we do corrections. What do you plan to do for tan bits? You're looking at it. This is the colour scheme we're going with. So this, outside of the base, this is a finished model. I'm planning to do a water and beach themed base, maybe Armageddon dust for sand, and then we've got some UV resin to do the lapping waves. But yeah, I just want to go for some gaps where you can see where it's really light. I want to get some more skeleton hard on them. And then maybe work a bit more on getting some of these highlights a bit brighter in areas. Other than that, I just like how it looks because it's really, it's oily, it's messy. It's meant to be beach themed. So, you got for watery robes, you've got the sand themed armor. And the same goes here. So all of its mechanisms are sand themed, its armor is water themed. Waves literally lapping on a beach. But I like the idea that inside all of its mechanisms, despite how much the tech police have tried to make the body all pretty, the mechanisms are still oily and dirty and stuff like that. And for 41st millennium, there is only dirt. Oh my gosh, these waves absolutely suck on this piece. Oh my gosh. I can't do it. But we could be going over that with the dark blue again. So we can salvage it a bit. That one's way better. Look how nice that one looks. And look how awful this one looks. Yeah, well, the dark blue and the black paint should salvage it a little bit. If you're wondering how I'm doing for waves, I'm literally just, I'm not really thinking too hard about it. Like, I'm just putting my brush down and letting it just kind of decide what things should do. At least initially. Now that I'm seeing the shapes that were painted in, I'm trying to highlight the bits that I think make good waves and emphasize them with this brush. And then just ignore the parts that I think were done terribly. With middling success. Okay, this is a lot better. Yeah, this is a lot easier when it's on a flat piece. Mostly flat. Maybe another wash to make it look oily could help, but then again, it could just not be picking up well on camera. I don't know. Looks pretty close to it in real life. I just like how it looks messy. And it does need more work. Like, you can see all of the brighter sections where I clearly missed it with the skeleton hard contrast paint. I'll just be throwing it back more at it, trying to get into all of those crevices. Oh gosh, I can't do it. There we go. No, just put something over here as well. And maybe stuff over here. I don't know. There we go, that's fine. 10 times, 10 times, do. Hey, stop grabbing my glove. Big old mean machine. Okay. The curve. We painted a curve correctly. Oh my gosh. And then... Okay, moving the model constantly then is the secret to doing the curves correctly. Oh my gosh, that was a mess. We can salvage it. Never mind, I just ruined it. Okay, we can salvage it. Salvage. Salvaging models is good. Salvage. We're trying our best to salvage. I don't know what to do. I don't know why I'm so proud of it. Just go. Fine. No. Go along here. This is a mess. I don't like it. Oh, actually no, it looks pretty good. I like it. I'm looking at it on the camera. Maybe it works. I need to work more down at the bottom of it. You know, this is what this model's been like. Me doing stuff, doing it incorrectly, and then going, you know what, that works. You know, the best laid plans of mice and men. They work in the end, but they're never what you intended. Hi, Estado. How you doing? Grim. Wave so good. Thank you. Wave. Ooh. Won a Warhammer match. Nice! So you won that in the end. Who was it against? Like, what faction? If you're not on our Discord page, wait. Someone do the Discord command. Hi, TA. We talk Warhammer all the time where Tyranids were slaughtered, 4 dwarves and 3 vehicles, and a vehicle died. 4 nids. 4 nids, they can never get a break. And they are doing a bit better now with the rules on 11th. But still, the Tyranids are... They have to play points. Out to 40 kin and 4 vehicles. Ooh, so what was she literally using? Is it the 40 half kin, 3 Sagittars and a Hecaton? And a Carl? Is that your army? Yes. So you're liking that list then? Furry instead of a Carl. Oh. Ow! My leg! My leg just cracked. I had from Dino Code under my chair and I moved it and it wasn't happy about that. Stupid, amusing stuff. There's always another kin to take the Fallen's place. And everyone's got feel no pain, which is probably annoying. That being said, Tyranids aren't the best to test it against if you want, like, you know, how to withstand killing power, because Tyranids are still one of the worst factions for just trying to table your opponent. Necrons are great at tabling opponents. Tau aren't bad at it. Orcs currently are actually pretty decent. Yeah, if you want to test just the durability though of your army, Tyranids not the best. Let's say against different things soon. Soon. I feel sorry for the Tyranid player, no. How close was it in terms of points though? You know, one of the rules I never knew of current 40k is that if you table your opponent, it doesn't mean you win. You have to still play the game. If you like your opponent's beating you on points. Is Gundra making a splash? I am making a splash. It's right here and it absolutely sucks. So did this one first. I don't think it's great still. Like my only one where I purposely tried making a splash. He gave up turn 4. No! Looking good. I take it you were winning on points too then, by that point. But she did say you were losing at points on the Discord. Basically I had him tabled, but he could still had made so many points, yet he just gave up. Oh, yeah, a lot of people. It's one of the issues with playing Nids. Is that while Nids are actually quite a good army, because they're amazing at playing points, is you don't always want to play points, especially with something like Nids. You want to be out there, you know, killing, fighting. I guess. It depends. Like, I really like the Nids being kind of wet sponges, I guess, but very good at doing the point stuff. It makes it very fun games. Well, I have multiple armies though. Like, I have armies that are very good at tabling but terrible at the points games, and armies that are very good at the points game but terrible at fighting opponents, then ones that are balanced. So Tyranids are kind of a nice difference to go to. It's very good at scoring. I did not realise it. Oh, sometimes you forget for objectives and run at your opponents. That's basic for Black Templar way of playing. And with Purge your Foe, you can do that now. Yay! Except when your opponent plays priority assets, and now you have to actually think about tactics again. Okay, they're looking okay, I guess. You have all the armies. I don't have Imperial Agents. I don't have Sisters of Battle. I don't have Chaos Knights. I don't have Thousand Suns. I mean, I could make a Thousand Suns army for my Night Lords. I don't have Thousand Suns. I don't have Emperor's Children, but I could make an Emperor's Children army for my Night Lords. But technically, I don't have one. I don't have Chaos Demons. I could technically make a Chaos Demon army for my Night Lords. I don't have Death Guard, but could technically make an army again. I do have World Eaters. I do have Tau. I don't have Dark Eldar at the moment. Although technically I could make an army using just Corsairs. Really played priority assets lol. Was fun against Take and Hold. Ooh. No, 4 out of 40. What else don't I have? I don't have Blood Angels. I don't have... I mean, technically I do have some Dark Angels now. Not a proper army for all Firstborn models. Hi, Chaplain. You did not. Nice. Let me see. No! No, not allowed to see the art. I'm joking. Here you go. So here's the art, and that's meant to be a koi fish. And here's the art at the front, and that's meant to be a kraken there. And here's more art at the side. And here's the art at the back. And here's the different legs. But we're still doing the legs. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's awesome. Thank you. How are you doing, Chaplain, anyway? Okay, we've got to get the dark blue done, then we can do the black on it, and just do the spots. And then I guess do this bit. Do we want to do this bit in waves as well? I guess we could. I could just leave it as this and do white highlights and stuff. Well, I can't space means there's one big thing. Most of them are just the same colour. Well, they play very differently. Black Templar play very differently from everyone else because they don't have the Oath of Moment. And they don't have Librarians. They don't even have a lot of the same units. Any Blood Angels, again, play quite differently. Space Wolves have just basically a separate army. But yeah, basically any with their own supplement do have massively different play styles. It's like Black Templar Stern Guard haven't taken a point hike. Because they're, you know, they don't have librarians to work with. Different colours, oopsies. So what else is there? Armies of the Imperium. I do have Imperial Knights. I do have some Custodes. I do have Astra Militarum. I do have Adeptus Mechanicus. Of the Xenos, I do have Orcs. I do have Tau. I do have Eldari. I don't have Harlequins or Yanari. I don't have Drukari. I don't have... I do have Necrons. I did say I have Orcs, didn't I? Yeah, I do have Tyranids as well. I do have Photon. I do have Gene Stealer Cults. And yes, I do have most armies. And as a suit, it's nice when armies have different playstyles on one another. And different things we're good at. No librarians is a big minus. Yeah, but we get execrators instead. And we get more chaplain powers. And we get a bunch of different data sheet things. And also we have the ability to just do all sorts of things. It's fun. We get Crusader squads, which are very fun. 4 power fists. Hi, Waterman. You play for Wargame as well? I do, a little bit. I can't really get out much, so I can't really play much outside. But I do try to keep up with it all. And half the time when I do have games, it's just against myself. But it's fun stuff. Okay, this bit again requires a more steady hand, I guess. There we go. I'm not actually doing too well today. I'm unfortunately my health's not doing too good. My tummy's been very bad, and I think it's affecting everything else. I was thinking about not doing for painting today, but then I thought, no, it's in for thumbnail, it's in for stream title. People seem to like it, so we'll do for art today. It's also one of those things that sometimes you think, if I push through it, I'll be able to do this thing, but then, you know, sometimes you can. And other times you're like, no, it's a bit of a struggle. That's what I feel like right now. And a bit of a struggle. There we go. You definitely don't have enough pain. Yeah, most of my armies are only about 1,000. I say most of them. I'm collecting about 8,000 points of Night Lords, 40,000 points of Templars. What else is there? 6,000 points of, no, 4,000 points of Orcs. 4,000 points of Tyranids. 2,000 points of Gene Stealer Cults, but most of them are just Tyranids, if I'm entirely honest with you. Using the final day or whatever it's called, detachment. 2,000 points of Eldar, 1,000 points of Photon, 1,000 points of Necrons, 1,000 points of Adeptus Mechanicus. Have you thought about making for upper parts blue? Upper blue parts for like black too, like the sky part? Oh yeah, we're going to be doing it. So basic, the top part of each part here is going to be black. It's following the exact same pattern here. We're not sure what we're doing here. Maybe clouds. Oh, I'm awake now. I was chilling, listening to your soft voice when a loud ad that starts with gunfire ripped through my ears. Anyway, question. What army do you Gene Stealer Cults? I mean, I don't really regret getting it. It's just for one army where every single army I've collected so far, because one of the reasons I have so many armies is that I got the Combat Patrol magazine. And that gave me a lot of models. I mean, for very cheap, considering the cost of a magazine. But it gave me lots of models from different armies, and the only one I felt disappointed by, massively disappointed by, was the Gene Stealer Cults. Botan, I was pleasantly surprised by. A couple of things I'm like, like the Siphonians, wasn't a big fan of. But Gene Zero Coats, the aberrants are way too small. The basic model, I don't really like the design of them. It feels too 80s. It's just too much. Like, you're meant to get like loads of infantry, but there's just so much detail on them. I mean, the neophytes are fine. The acolyte hybrids were also fine. But they were fine. I didn't feel amazing making them, and a lot of the heads I don't like on them as well. Like everybody
It's a crab.
Bald kind of sucks. It's a crab. It is a crab. Which mod have you painted that you most probably this one, if I'm entirely honest with you? So far, most of my painting, like I used to be, I got really good at painting one time. Like I was entering golden demons and stuff. Oh, for that being said, I started entering golden demon when I was still very, very bad at painting. But then I quit the hobby for not a number of years. Basically, I think it was actually, I thought it was before 7th edition, but I think it was actually just before 8th edition was announced. I really just fully stopped the hobby. For a lot of 7th edition, I wasn't really doing it as much. I had too many exams, too much school and stuff. But then I got out of the hobby. And then I came back into it and I had to relearn how to paint a lot of it. And the paint formulas had changed a lot anyway. But it's like every single model we've been doing has been a learning experience. So basically, like every time I paint, I've got like a new model I'm proud of. I guess if it's excluding this model, because it's the only one I've actually tried doing proper freehanding on, there's a couple of my Templar models I'm really proud of the faces I've done on. Actually, this girl, I'm pretty surprised how well her face came out. I mean, I didn't really thin down for paints properly, so you can see it is messy, but her eyes came out really well in the end. I was kind of proud of it. It's not the best face I've done. I'm really, really proud of one of the models I've painted, of the Black Templar models. I feel like I did the face perfectly by it. Was actually my first attempt to do like really dark skin, because you know, I wanted to try doing dark skin. Actually, no, I'd done a couple of attempts, except this one, like I really nailed how to do the skin tone on it. And since then, I've been like, I went from, you know, avoiding doing dark skin because I found it harder, to avoiding doing light skin because I'm just so much better now at dark skin. I still need to find the way to do lighter skin. I think a lot of it comes down to just thin down my lighter paints a lot more. Oh, McDonald's had a gun. Yeah. You got light tremors, so you're freehand this mod. I mean, I'm getting quite a bit of tremors now. I don't know if it shows up on the camera. But if you're doing, I would suggest, if you want to do freehand at all, doing it on a larger model like this is probably the best, because it gives me more area to work with. But also try to do something with like nature. Like these waves, I'm literally allowing my hand to shake a bit. It works with it because it's all non-uniform. There's no straight lines involved. There's no strong definition. If I do make a mistake, often it works. Like there's been so many times I've just made mistakes here. It's like this splash here wasn't meant to be a big splash. It was meant to be a wave, but I just messed it up. And then I kept messing it up and eventually I just managed to turn it into a splash. Same goes with this splash here, and these here were meant to be big waves. This was just meant to be like something I wanted to try. I don't remember what I was trying here, but I know it was so bad that in the end I put the Kraken there just so it would look different, and it worked. So yeah, there's just a lot of... If you do have light tremors, I recommend trying to do nature. freehanding on Legionnaires, Imperial Minis. Oh my gosh, it would be difficult. Although at least it would be so small, no one would be able to see any mistakes. But yeah, I can understand the difficulties trying to do stuff. Not easy. It's like this model I tried doing for face on stream, but I couldn't get the face correct, and eventually I just did it off stream after eating some food. Felt better, got my breathing and stuff under control, and I could do the face a lot better. But actually, most of the good faces I've done have been off stream. I think it's mostly like on stream. I don't get too much anxiety on stream. I do get some, especially when I'm trying to do these more detailed things and trying to make things look nice. And when I get my anxiety, my shaking gets worse. Drive out of my cry of devastation, Stormlord. For other thing I suggest when doing freehanding, if you got shaky hands, elbow on table, wrist on table, both hands, elbow and wrist, you want fully supported. Then what you want to do is make sure your model supported. So if it's a big model like this, it works. This is on the floor, so any shaking I do, if I'm holding it up, my shaking, you can see it's bigger, but put it down, and the shaking suddenly gets absorbed by the table, or in this case, cardboard. Because there's actually no table here. It's just cardboard and a cutting mat. When this wrist is on, then my finger is on the model. Specifically on the model. Because if this hand starts shaking, it starts shaking this model. Especially if you can just like balance it at 2 points like this. If this hand shakes, it shakes the model. So if I'm trying to paint, my model's moving with me. It doesn't really matter if I'm shaking. If I'm trying to paint like this though, yeah, you can see I can't really keep my hands still to do the painting with it. And it doesn't matter too much if I'm just trying to do the rough outline of shapes, but as soon as I'm trying to do details, it's going to mess up. A lot of my mistakes come from when I've suddenly changed to doing like this. Again, I'm grabbing the model. And yes, I will start scraping paint off the model, but that's just a price to pay for it. And again, if this hand starts shaking, because I'm holding it like this hand shakes, it's moving this hand with it. So not only am I stabilizing my hand, which significantly reduces the amount of that tremors will affect the mod moving. It's like, even if I have a really bad time of, suddenly going, like, my hand wants to go like that. Again, it's like I'm moving the model. It's going to significantly reduce how bad it is. I did have an issue over here where it went across. On top of that, it's like when I do have issues like that, I just wipe it away with my finger. And because I'm doing waves, all that will happen is it'll just spread it across the model and it will just work its way into the waves, and as a result, it will turn it into something that's salvageable. The tiny desk is your problem. I should start painting a dining table. Thanks. Like, yeah, if you've got a tiny desk or anything, then what I suggest is have a chair that has arms on it. Preferably arms that are, fixed in place. They're not going to shake. And then what you can do is you can put your elbows on the arms of your desk, then your wrists on the arms of your chair, and then your wrists on the table, and you can paint that way. So yeah, it's hard to say because I'm actually now much further down, so it's not on the camera. But again, it works for pretty much the exact same way. If you don't have arms on your desk, on your chair, then what you want to do is, if your chair is high enough, you put your both feet steady on the ground, put your knees together, and hope that you don't have shaky leg syndrome like I do. Then you just put your elbows on your legs and your hands rest on your desk. So you can paint. And if you've got any shaking. Well, main thing is, if you really don't have anywhere you're comfortable putting your elbows, just make sure your wrists are both on the desk. Because that will absorb most of your movement in your arms. So that's most of my advice anyway, when it comes to freehanding. Well, not just freehanding, it's painting in general. Anything you're painting, you want to do, that's really useful. If you're painting a miniature and you don't want to put your hands on the miniature, because it's fragile or whatever, let's say it's like a demonette, so you got no way you can put your hands on a miniature. You can just put your finger here, do that. Now you will have an issue where if your hand does start shaking, like you don't want to, like you could do this, so you're painting the model, but then it's like, okay, this is a very thin, very fragile model, I don't want to break it. So you get yourself a painting handle. I don't have a painting handle, but get yourself a painting handle. And then what you do is you put one thing on the painting handle here, one thing on the painting handle there, and then you paint with it. You can use a painting handle as a rest for your hand as well. And that way, so if the painting handle moves in one hand, it moves everywhere else. 100 doesn't believe in painting handles. I mean, they're actually very good and very useful. I have been thinking about maybe getting them. Because especially with certain models like this one, where you got so many spikes on it, it's not only is this model extremely fragile, so holding it's difficult, but it's like when everywhere I hold on the model, I'm starting to scrape away paint along like these corners, edges and spikes. And in some places it's very noticeable. In fact, you can actually see it in some of these areas with this model. Then 2 new painting techniques. Yay! I'm thinking about making a shot with those suggestions in. Because those are the first basic suggestions I would ever say to anybody when painting. You don't need to have a painting handle. Anything that can just hold the miniature for you would be good. Usually by the base. Obviously painting handles are designed for it. You got ones made by different companies. I wouldn't suggest getting the super cheap Citadel one or Warhammer one. The more expensive one, yes, but the super cheap one is not very good. I mean, it's super cheap. It's like £2 or something. So if it's the only one you can afford, then it would do its job. But if you can afford another one, just get the other one. Now, I've not used any of them, mind you. This is just advice I've heard online. Because I do try keeping a tabs on all of these things. I'm trying to learn how to paint better. But yeah, before this miniature, I did not think I could do freehanding properly. In fact, I still struggle painting the eyes. Like, the eyes on this model, it's like the 5th attempt at the eyes. And often it's like, the best eyes I've ever done on a model, I feel like, they were done. I messed up them eyes. I got the eyes correct, but I also got black splodges on the cheek and on the eyebrow, and I had to fix it. But I got the eyes done perfectly at the same time. So it's like, I also know people who have hand tremors and stuff. And see, one of the things that inspired me to do this was just seeing something on Reddit of this saying, person, they've got hand tremors and they've painted something amazing. I'm like, oh, got no excuse to this. I think All you do is just practice. Just give it a try. Don't let yourself be discouraged. And again, just because you don't like something or you don't think you did it very well, doesn't mean other people will think the exact same way. It's like, I look at this model and all I can see a lot of the time is just bad attempts at stuff. Like, I just see the massive mistake I made here and over here. The F issues I had over here. On a Nietzsche for legs. Every single part, I just see the mistakes I made. But other people, obviously, they seem to really like it. And I have to just tell myself, that old Bob Ross adage of, it's not mistakes, it's a happy little accident. Like, I know I say it repeatedly to myself as well. It's like, you know, the mistakes, the opportunities to learn or just to practice more. But that's partly just because I'm trying to convince myself as much as you guys. I'm just constantly not doing things that did not go the way I wanted. But again, that actually didn't go the way I wanted, but it worked. It worked. For £2, I could buy a Play-Doh pot and stick it with it. Stick it with that. You could do. It's like, you can do anything you want. I know somebody who has a paintbrush. So they take, you know, one of those really big paintbrushes for painting walls. They've basically got the handle of one of them, and they've just got a bunch of white tack, or blue tack rather, just splodged it onto the end, and then they just stick the model to it. Stick the base of a model to the end of it, and that's it. That's how they do it. I don't know how they handle bigger models like this, and models without bases. I don't know how you'd handle that with those painting stands anyway. You can do anything you want. You're not a very responsible parent. Look, I'm not a parent. Cuptle. It's more of a pet rather than, you know, a child. You know? Aren't you, Cuptle? Also, you can't stop Cuptle doing anything he wants. He just does it anyway.
I resent that.
Why do you resent that, Cuptle? You're not allowed to. Look, you were a kaiju trying to conquer the universe, and then I turned into a cute little Cuptle. That's fine. Don't worry about it. That's our history together. The other thing is if you what's it called? You are having shaky hands. Drink some water. And just control your breathing. Like, do some breathing exercises, just like. And then it's the exact same thing of like if you're trying to aim with like a bow or a gun or something. You control your breathing. And it helps. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling very well today, so my hand is a bit whatever. Okay, this I don't like how this one looks. I'm gonna have to do some more work here, I think. Hentai kawaii, hentai kawaii. There we go. That looks nice with that one. Forever dehydrated. Oh gosh. Now I'm gonna take a little rest because my Mate. Drink some cola. For some people, drinking like something that's high in sugar or caffeine might actually help you. And for me, I find that's actually useful when my hands are shaky, because usually I get shaky hands when I am on a sugar low, not a sugar high. So I need to drink more sugary stuff or eat more. I was thinking I should have like something to eat a bit more before the stream and decided against it because my stomach's been a bit upset. I feel like that was maybe a bad choice. Hi, Officer Bucktud Russell. How you doing? Yeah, this one is not looking so good. I was trying to do a splash there after messing up a wave. Trying to do a wave here, but everywhere else I think it's doing well enough. That one's not the best. That one's also not the best. You know, we're fine for doing well enough. This one we'll fix later. Just came to bask in the beauty of your paint job. Oh, thank you. Next, we're going to be putting some black onto it, so same as we did here. I actually find that the black's been very, very useful for redefining some of the shapes of the waves. And the splashes especially. This also just applies a really nice contrast between the, so that the waves stand out better. Oops. Do everyone do the crab, everyone do the crab. Look at paint speak there. I'm just like, so I'm just resting. I'm resting my hands a little bit after that. Yesterday I was like full of way too much energy, and today I'm like the exact opposite. What the heck? You know, have they done for... No, they're not showing. They're not showing what's coming next week. I'm assuming that the new Skaven made to Ardor coming next week. With... Look at these beautiful models. Look how beautiful he is. Oh, amazing. He looks fine. I wonder if these are all metal. Probably a mixture. I think this one... No, that one looks metal, actually. Might be plastic. He's probably metal. Well, probably all metal. All resin. Fine cast resin. Look at this beautiful. Look at the Chud Sun. Your Chud Sun on the way to McDonald's. Angry mice. Yeah. Off to go cook some brekkie. Oh, after some good... Oh, you gotta have some bacon. Bacon and eggs. Full English. Look at this guy. So cool. Also, I like how the Forge Road Resin Vermin Lord is nowhere near as good as this one. And neither of them are anywhere near as good as the current Vermin Lord. Oops, not Death. Chaos. Skaven. Yeah, look at the current Vermin Lord. These models are absolutely amazing, Vermin Lords. Weren't these ones originally for Warhammer for Old World? Not Warhammer Fantasy originally? I'm pretty sure, because I'm pretty sure they were around back when I was still playing. If I was still playing when they did bring out the Age of Sigmar stuff. But I was still just playing Fantasy, not Age of Sigmar. The Warbringer looks kind of cool, not gonna lie. I guess if you're going to use the new... Oh, it's almost my favourite one. The Corruptor. Oh. Cool. Whoopsie, kind of sucks. It's okay. No Corruptor. Warbringer's cool though. Seaver's actually really cool. What the heck? I like how it's incredibly washed out once you actually, you know, go on for 361. It's probably because they do way... These are probably incredibly heavily photoshopped to make it look nicer and stuff. While these ones are just, you know, if they've not offered, they put them in a light box. I feel like, yeah, we're not photoshopping every single frame, like for 300 images. Are there any more Verminlord types? Oh, look at this guy! He's so cool! Look at this scabby bat. Oh my gosh. Now we got 12 minutes until they announce what's coming out next week. I'm hoping Red Terror will get... I mean, I already have Red Terror. It's like, come on, release Red Terror individually. Red Terror's not released individually yet, is they? Okay. Control for breathing. Now we get some black onto here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be great. Just has to be good enough to appreciate. We're painting little models, painting them as well as can be. Painting little models, painting what I can see. Making mistakes. Oh gosh. Trying to paint into here is horrible. Why do we even have this thing? That does not seem like a Mechanicus symbol. That seems more like something the Sisters of Battle will have. It's on all of the Imperial Knights. And like a lot of the Mechanicus models. Okay, thankfully this is like something I had to do a lot when I was doing manga. Using brushes to fill in black areas. And you have to be extremely careful not to, you know, cover up all your hard work that you had done earlier. Because I was a traditional mangaka. I eventually went to full digital. Because you had to do partial digital anyway. Yeah, everything made by hand. Using ink and screen tone. There are a lot of mangaka who like to do that. They don't do it for every single panel now. Or important ones that are worth the extra effort. Sometimes they do. There we go. Tummy, tummy, tummy. And try, and try. There we go. Oh, already looks a lot nicer, doesn't it, with the black? Yeah. Also, I would never... Thinning down your paint is incredibly important. It's like, ever since I started thinning down my paints with just some Lamia medium, it's just been so good. It's helped so much. Do you have any art-related streamers you like or would recommend? I don't know, actually. I know sometimes Kinetic Keith or Kinetic Fennec. The K-I-F-E usually how she calls herself. These streams are. Sometimes the person who rigged my model also streams. That's Froggy Kairu, and well, her feed-gen is linked in the description, but through a feed-gen you can get to her social media pages and kind of streams. But I don't really watch many art streams or anything. I'm still trying to figure out thinning down my paints, like I get the concept. It depends on what you want to do and the exact paint you're working with. Usually the thing I've heard of people say is you want the consistency of milk. So basically just slightly thicker than water. Which is kind of cool. That's especially good if a lot of things. It depends what you're trying to do though. If like you're trying to make a gradient, very useful. If you're trying to just cover an entire model with a base colour, you just take your brush, you can dip it in as much as you want, and you don't have to worry about anything. You just throw the paint on and it will fix itself. And you might need 2 or 3 layers at that consistency, depending on the pigmentation of your paint. But yeah. That's generally what I've heard though. Personally, I just throw some Lamia contrast into my paint pot, and that's what I work with. And I just dampen the brush as and when I want the paints to be thinner, and how damp I make the brush changes how thin it is. But with them being thinned with Lamia medium rather than water first, it significantly helps out. When you're painting cars, you also have to reduce how to paint properly depending on temperature, pigment, material, etc. Yeah. Just told that's bad for paint or something. I have no idea. I just throw it into a pot because if you're doing with water, if you're thinning down with water, what you'll find is that it changes how your paint behaves. If you're thinning down with medium, it doesn't change how your paint behaves. Your paint should behave very similarly. It's just now thinner. So if you're thinning down with water, what you might find is your paint will collect in certain areas of the model. Or if it was a contrast paint, it might lose some of its contrastiness. And if it's not a contrast paint, it might start behaving. Oh gosh, I just messed that up. Might start behaving a bit more like a contrast paint. If you get my meaning. If you're thinning down for medium, it helps it. Generally, I started throwing it into pots of my Wraithbone paint was just absolutely messed up. It was drying out. Same with my Abaddon Black. I'm just throwing some Lamia medium with vitalized paints. That works. I found it's done nothing bad with the paint though so far. Just throwing it into a bottle. I mean, it's up to what you want to do. I mean, if it does ruin your paints, don't blame it on me, please. Yeah, and a lot of people I know, actually, I say a lot of people. Some of the people I know, like, oh, Sorp, sometimes he does painting stuff. But he's more for Warhammer. You know, he paints Warhammer and stuff. But I know that he and a few other people, what they'll do is they'll have empty paint pots that are properly cleaned out and stuff. And they'll put some of one paint in, put some of another paint in, put some medium in, maybe put some water in, shake it all up. And now they've got themselves a perfectly thinned down paint. That's the exact pigment that they want. It's just exactly what they want. And it's in a paint pot that they can use. And that's it. And they'll just close up the paint pot. Whenever they need it again, they just open it up. So that way, the paints aren't thinned down in the bottles here. But they are thinned down in a different bottle. Well, that means, like, because they're mixing paints together, they'll only have a bit from a bottle. As far as I'm aware, it's been a while since I've, like, seen a stream where he's actually talked about doing that, so a video. I might have the wrong idea of it. I've not done that. I used to do a bit of that when I was a kid. But that's back when, one, Games Workshop had a far worse range of paints available. Oh gosh, you can see I just absolutely messed up and went onto a red here. Oh, it's because it's all over my fingers. Oops. Whatever. We'll be doing red highlights soon. So, yeah. I was told if you lick your brush, it should be for perfect consistency for basic reduction. That's kind of what I do. Like, if you see my tongue randomly stick out to my model, it's usually kind of what I'm doing. And I don't advise it, but it's what I'm doing. Oh gosh, oh my gosh, I've absolutely messed up here. I didn't even see myself mess up that badly. When did I do that? Yeah, that's definitely the brush. Oh. Oh, whatever. I'll fix it later. Mistakes happen. And you can fix them. I'll be painting those bits later anyway. And am I weird for wanting to see a picture of each layer of thinned paint looks like, building up to a finished product so that I know what to look for? I guess not too weird. If you look it up on YouTube, we might find something like that. I'm still experimenting with how I want my paints thinned anyway. So any advice I give you is basically just me repeating what I've heard before. Because I'm still not quite happy with the way I'm doing things. I'm still trying to find what's good for me. All you have to do is experiment. Find what's good for you. Find what works for you. And what works for you might keep changing, so just keep experimenting. One day you might find that you really like what you're doing. I don't have a squig. But when I was painting the squig, I realised just how useful thin down paints are. That I was trying to create a gradient with just brushes. No sponges, just the brush and my fingers. They just skip over the layers to a finished product. Well, there's definitely been ones I've seen on YouTube before where they don't just skip over it. When I just literally searched up how to thin paints one of the YouTube videos just had. Here's basically, they had 2 panels from a building. One of them was showing you how to thin your paints, how to make it nice and watery, and they just painted it straight onto the panel. And the other one was paint that was unthinned down, painted straight onto a panel. And they showed you the 2 different, how it actually was. They explained how the paint dries, and how when it's wet, when it's thinned down, the paint will slowly spread out as it's drying across the model, making the coverage a lot more even, rather than when it's not done, it will clump up. Another thing that I recently learned is when you're painting with a brush, when you're painting your layers in, wait for your paint to dry. It's very hard to overstate how important that is, because when you're waiting, when your paint's not fully dry and when it's thinned down, it takes longer to dry. Don't forget that, especially if you're thinning it with water. What will start happening is it'll be partially dry, and then you'll basically be revitalizing it a little with your next coat of paint. And what you're going to do is you're going to be pushing half-dried paint around, and it'll start clumping up in areas. And once it starts clumping up, your next layer will be clumping up on top of those clumps. And that will create a texture that you probably don't want there. It might look very good, and that's actually something for when you want to add texture to your paint that you control. You're looking for what each layer looks like before applying the next layer to see what it looks like so I can visualize it in my mind. What it depends. Like, it depends on what paint you're using. Like Abaddon Black, you can thin this down as much as you want, and pretty much when it goes down, it will give you perfect coverage pretty much. Like, this is quite thin down, and it's like I only need 1 or maybe 2 layers to completely cover a model, and for it to, you know, be exactly what you want it to be. But when it comes to some other paints, you're going to need 3-4 layers maybe to get some proper good coverage and to hide whatever colours underneath it. It really depends. It changes dependent on each paint you use and what conditions you're currently in. Like, if you're in a really humid area, it's going to take longer for paints to dry. It's going to look different compared to if you're not humid area. So again, you just need to just take your paints, get yourself like a wet palette or whatever, thin down your paints to different layers, and just find what works for you. I generally find that trying to paint with thinned paints down, like very thinned paints, is sometimes a bit harder than not. So honestly, getting experience of different levels of thinning down your paints is probably useful anyway. You're a very visual, technical artist, so I just say do it yourself. And like, you might have some videos out there that might do exactly that, but otherwise, like, no one can tell you. Like, I personally don't like my paints to be super thin down. I like to have different. Because I find when they're super thin down, especially trying to do details, is that you have a bit less control over paint. It wants to spread out more. It wants to go away from you. Especially when trying to do raised details, it wants to pour down the edges. So I'll change how watered down the paints are. And that affects it. doing this bit here, I extremely watered down the paints to get that, so that the layer that went on was so thin you could still see the water under it, to give that, you know, the kraken there, the idea of a kraken under it. And the same goes for painting this koi fish. You can kind of just see some colour here that's not the exact colour of the waves. And again, that's extremely thinning it down so that it has very little actual pigment coverage. It's also not just very thin down, I'm painting very thin layers. So that means I've not got much paint to my brush to begin with, and what paint is there is mostly water. Sorry if you're being a bit difficult to explain my problem. It might. Sorry if I'm not understanding it as well. It's just, I mean, for me, it's like, people could tell me stuff, but in the end, I just had to I just experimented to find where I'm happy with it. I'm more of a experiment. I'm more of I have to do it to learn it. If I'm not doing it, I'm not learning it. Ian, tell me something. It's like with my Japanese at the moment of the grammar lessons. I'm just reading it and it's like it just goes in and then just immediately leaves. I have to just do the test if I wanna figure it out. Work it out. There we go. So I'm probably not a very good teacher. I'm probably just going to be like, just do it yourself. Oh god. There we go. There we go. Ooh. It's a lot easier on the camera to see where things are still blue when I don't want it to be. I just hit the camera with a brush and my brush went flying. Brush, come back! Where'd he go? Where'd he go, brush? Oh my, how did you get back there? Ow! Hi, Michael. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for such a beautiful wave. Yeah, I just whacked my microphone, my camera with my brush, and my brush went flying. It landed on my computer, rolled over my computer, and behind it. Water! Wait, it's 6:10. You know what that means? Most exciting part of the day. Next week. Ooh, the Necromunda stuff's coming out next week. Oh, the new car set. That looks a bit boring, doesn't it? Necromunda. None of these are new models. These are just gangs you can buy. Basic got for basic gang of an elite unit as well. Basic gang, elite unit. Basic gang, no, basic gang, elite unit. I don't know. Basic gang, elite unit. Basic gang, elite unit. Basic gang, elite unit. Ooh, these look fun though. Oh, ooh, and for Black Library, Wicked and for what? And a special edition for it. That's a very thick book. Ooh, that looks cool. Infinite and for Defines also gets another release. Pink classes. Oh, so they're not bringing out the Skaven Maid to order next week. That's surprising. At some point, I would like to paint one of each Dark Side classes in mini form. Ooh, so if you want to do that, then you definitely want to get a Necromunda model. Actually, no, Hive Scum. There is a specific model called Hive Scum. If we go over here. Yeah, order yours now. Order your X-Lights now. Sold out. If we go here. Hive Scum. Yeah, there's a specific model set called Hive Scum. 14 quid, 4 models. You get a bunch of different ways to build them as well and head options. So yeah, here's your Hive Scum. Alternative, you can pretty much just buy any of the Necromunda models. These are still some of the most beautiful looking Gene Stealers. Look at my flood infected Gene Stealers. Do any have needle pistols? Okay, if you want the needle pistol one specifically, you're going to have to... I don't know if a Hive Scum has the needle pistols. Might tell you here exactly what they'll have. No, just tell you exactly. I think if I just auto pistols and shotguns. Yeah, no needle pistols. If you want the needle pistols, search Clan Escher. Oh, for all women in Clan Escher. So if you wanted a man with the needle pistols, you're a bit out of luck. So here you go. These are the ones with needle pistols. That's a needle gun over here. I'll tell you, does it tell you exactly what they're armed with? Yes, 6 stiletto blades, 2 shotguns, 4 power swords, 6 blast guns, 2 shot picks, 2 needle bolters, 2 plasma pistols, 2 chem throwers, 2 auto guns, along with other stuff here. Oh yeah, those are combi needle weapons actually. You've then got these guys over here. Which, they got a needle bow. Oh, there you go, there's your needle pistol on this model. Which is the Clan Escher Death Maidens and Wild Runners. I like making enemies pop. So how many does it actually... Does it tell you exactly what weapons? Yeah, 2 Death Maidens with needle pistols and venom claws, 2 with wild bows. I don't know how many options. I've never had that set. It looks like a cool set though. All of my models I've built specifically for 40k though. Using them for guardsmen. Or traitor guard in some cases. Or cultists. Do the Goliaths have needle weapons? Because they're chem guard dudes. I don't think they do. And actually, if we do a search here, it might give you the options of people with needle weapons. So Clan Escher upgrades through has... Oh, here you go. The Clan Escher weapons upgrades has needle pistols on it, needle guns. They've also got the chem flamethrowers. Or the chem throwers. The chem throwers are also in for basic box. Needle. No, they got needle mouths. Oh, the Calidus Assassin has a needle pistol. Yeah, needle pistols, needle weapons. ever saw assassin has needles. Yeah, I think it's just the clan Escher models. The Hive Scum plus Escher weapon upgrades. It might work. Escher, the issue with Escher arms, I mean, you can always just cut them off at the hand and attach them to somebody else's body. Attach them to a different arm. But if you look at the clan Escher upgrades too, here it is. You can see that arms are very thin. It actually kind of makes it annoying trying to put them together and trying to keep them together, especially when you magnetize the bases. How many needle arms does it have? It has 2 needle arms, both of them are left arms. You can always cut them off at the trigger, I guess, and then replace it with like an auto pistol in somebody else's hand. So like here. I mean, Hive Scum themselves are pretty thin. I've never actually made the Hive Scum kit, but yeah, if you compare that arm to this arm. With that being said, look at this arm. It's like you could easily cut this arm off here. And then just glue in the other arm at the elbow. This other arms. Yeah, that arm's actually pretty thin itself, so you might be able to put the Escher arm onto the bodies. I don't know. I've never used the Hive Scum. I've not tried mixing and matching parts of them before. That's just my suggestions. I guess you can also always just cut off the needle end of a gun and then cut off the end of like an auto pistol or last pistol and then just glue the needle part. You know, the unique shape of a end of a needle gun onto your new model. Oh yeah, your miniatures were cool that you posted on the Discord. Michael. Right, here we go. No, I was talking to Michael because he said, I hope you like my new miniatures. And I missed that message earlier. Everyone who's posted miniatures on the Discord, they're super cool. I like seeing everyone's models. A lot of the time they inspire me. There we go. Oh gosh, my back. This bit's a lot harder to do than I was expecting it to be. You do. How are you doing? Don't worry about leaving. It's just nice and people pop in. Pop in. Give the stream a like. Leave if you need to. Take care of yourself. It's important. What type of Mark III helmet do you guys think I'd use with my Mark 6 body? What type? Is there only like 1 or 2 types of Mark III helmet? There we go. That's starting to look okay, I guess. These waves are not big. Actually, over here, I want to do a bit more work. Ah, that looks a lot nicer there now. Get back! Get back over here! Trying to escape. Oh gosh, I'm trying to paint this and I can't get my hand to be stable. Can you give me some advice? Because I can't give you love advice, I'm sorry. Or relationship. Look, I've never been in a relationship. I would have no idea where to start giving advice. My advice about relationships is never be in a relationship. Humans suck. Do not take that advice seriously, please. I mean, it's how I kind of feel about things. I don't really like people. Well, not in that way anyway. I'm a cupcake. Also, you shouldn't be... Relationships shouldn't be about money. If someone wants to get back together with you about costs and get you to buy stuff, then they're probably not good to be with. That's bad. That's bad. Do you value the money of a potential relationship more? Yeah. I'm very much of the opinion that if you're in a relationship with somebody, until it's been many, many years and you're very happily married, you should probably keep finances separate from one another. Maybe not after you're happily married, but after you've been you're very happy together. And you shouldn't let them guilt you into buying stuff for them. Especially if you don't have much money yourself. Because a relationship built on money is a relationship that is not built to last. Again, person never been in a relationship. Advice, don't take too well. Hello, lasagna lover, how you doing? Also, from what I've heard, generally getting back together with exes is rarely a good idea. I don't know why I keep trying to give advice. I'm not a relationship person. I'm going to stop giving advice now. We're not a relationship channel. We're a cupcake channel with Warhammer and very few cupcakes. You're good. You just had a cool sushi date hangout. A sushi date? Now you build Warhammer. Nice! You had sushi. Sushi. Tasty sushi. I thought, is sushi even tasty? I don't think I could ever have sushi. Like, the idea of just raw fish is like, no thank you. I'm prepared to potentially have your heart broken. Hard-earned money taken, used. Yeah, it's, there we go. So let's keep conversation on topic of Warhammer. There we go. I'm just a painting cupcake person. Okay, now this is the terrible one. And this one wasn't too great. That one we managed to salvage. This one, not really salvaged it. I'm gonna try salvaging this a bit more. Like this into it. There we go. Cheeseburger, cheeseburger. Everyone wants cheeseburgers. I'm gonna have a cheeseburger every day. Sorry, random song I made up. There we go. When I'm trying to focus, I just randomly sing whatever comes into my head. I keep painting the top of my camera by accident. Stop painting the camera. The camera doesn't want to be painted. It's happy the way it is. It wants to paint. It wants to paint. I don't understand. No one understands the paint demands of this camera. Everyone understands the paint demands of the camera. They're non-existent. So says you. Potion seller. I want your strongest potion. No, adventurer. You can't handle my strongest potion. But potion seller, I'm going into battle, and I must have your
Capcom,
potion.
if you had to marry any Primarch, who would you marry?
I wouldn't marry any of them. If a person forcing me to marry a Primarch, I'll be like, I'll fight you! I'll fight you! And the Emperor will be like, well then, I'm gonna take the... That's actually how the Emperor, you know, ended up on the Golden Throne. He just wanted me to marry one of his Primarchs, and he made up the entire thing about the Horus Heresy to save face. I'm like, no, you can't make me. He's like, I can. And he was like, cracks knuckles. And I'm like, cracks neck. His neck specifically. Marrying a massive lad will be scary regardless of how cool he is. Look, I'm more massive than any Primarch. It's fine. You don't realise this miniature is actually giant. My hands are just that big. But no, I don't want to marry a Primarch. I don't want to marry anybody. What the heck? I'm perfectly happy as a single lady with my massive collection of Warhammer. And no one is worth a massive collection of Warhammer. That miniature is actually super far away. It's true. It's true. Look, I'm now going to join Games Workshop. Work my way up to the law department and then write law that for Horus never defeated the Emperor. Instead, he got battered by just some random lady who wanted to marry one of his Primarchs. My gosh, that cupcake has hands. No. There we go. Oh, I'm not doing very well. The further we get into the stream, the worse I think I'm doing. Why did I decide to paint waves on the legs as well? With all this trim here. Oh my gosh, this is not going well. You do do do. You do do do. Also, aren't the Primarchs like all incapable of having children, just like the Space Marine is? And stuff. Like, I know some of the Primarchs had wives, technically. Or whatever. I don't even think the Primarchs have any functional, you know. Aren't they all like Ken dolls? That's how I imagine they are anyway. You do. Okay, how's that going? Yeah, this area sucks. I need to fix that. Maybe some Baharoff blue will work. Oh gosh, my ear is in pain. I need to turn some. Don't forget to like the stream. I need to turn my air conditioner on. Okay. Yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I won't be painting. I'll just be converting models. I'll just be making stuff. Back to a chaos week this week. This coming week. Yeah, get all of this stuff here. That helps. Yeah. Get some white paint. Sentai kawaii. Sentai kawaii. Do 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 do. Bow 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 bow. Splashes, splashes, everyone's splashing. Oh gosh. My arm hurts. Oh, it's not fun. I'm wondering maybe I shouldn't have done a painting stream today. I think I went a bit overboard as well with the dark blue here. You know what I did? Less is more. Less. There we go. And we got some blue again. Blue again. Baharoff blue. Beautiful colour. I wish we had more like proper cyan colours. There's not many good cyan colours in the Warhammer range. I also wish they had more metallic colours outside of just gold and silver. Like, do you know, red metallics and stuff? I know you can always just use some contrast paint over, like, lead belch or whatever, or storm hose to get the same effect, or similar effect, but I do think that is a gap in the Warhammer range. Yeah, it still doesn't look great. Well, not all of the bits are gonna look good, I guess. Oh my gosh, I messed it up. That's fine, I guess. How's it looking? Do you think it looks fine on all the legs? It's harder to paint it because, you know, for things. Ugh. Ugh. I guess it's good enough. I guess it's good enough. Yeah, there's definitely areas here where I could do more work on them, I guess. Not as obvious outside of a camera. Yeah, that's how it looks more in real life. As soon as you turn the light on, you can start seeing, like, right here. Okay, let's start putting the spray on it. Yeah, I definitely don't think I did as well today. I think once we get the spray on it, it will also just help make all of the other mistakes feel purposeful. I'm gonna went a bit overboard there. Oh god. That's way too heavy. That's better. Oh god. Sometimes it dries a bit on the brush and then it's hard to get off. No. Oh, that's not what I want to be. And work with me, please. My hand hurts. Making it difficult. My other hand just wants to drop the model. Oh gosh, that was awful. Magnifying glass, work with me. Magnifying glass, help me out. Magnifying glass, you're as good as can be. Magnifying glass, I love you so. Magnifying glass, just help me out. Magnifying glass, just tell me again. Do your job, do it well. Getting hand cramps now with this tiny brush. Getting hand cramps now, all of the time. There we go. Oh gosh, that was terrible. No, whatever, we can work with it.
My doggo says hi to everyone here.
Oh gosh, I'm dizzy. I just turned over to look at the message and my vision just rolled everywhere. I swear I could just see behind me then. Oh, that's done. Nice. Oh gosh. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, that's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's my fault. Don't worry about it. I need a drink, I think. Water! Oh gosh. There we go. Yeah, I'm not too well today. I didn't do a very good job on the waves. I'm sorry. I guess I think with the foam as well, the splash. It's a bit too much. That's the best one, probably. Nothing a morbid and black won't fix. What do you guys think? Do you think this is fine at the moment? You think I need more work on the waves? You think for up to snuff with the waves at the top? Yeah, sometimes you just have bad days. And you just have to deal with having bad days. I think it's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I think I definitely need a break from looking at this model, though. Looks wonderful. Thank you. You worked on it a lot. So let's look. Which of these things looks the worst? That one. We'll get some black paint. Don't need a lot of that. We'll just thin this down. Yeah, one of the things I'd say about freehanding as well is just practice it. The more you practice freehanding, and arguably the better you're going to get at it. It's not just going to be better at freehanding, you're going to figure out ways to stabilize your hands. Like, I get hand tremors. It might not seem like it, but I do get hand tremors. I have quite shaky hands. When I was doing at my height of digital art, my hand tremors obviously got worse because it's like trying to hold this brush like this. It's really hurting my hand now. And I got really painful hands. I had to put a stabilization on my digital brushes of 75 out of 100. Normal is like 30. It's like even years after stopping doing art on a daily basis. It's only like a year into VTubing that I could start not having to do that anymore. So the best advice I can always give is just practice. Just give it a go. You might not be good at it, you might be good at it. I thought I was terrible at freehanding before I did this. The best freehanding I've done before then is this screen. And this screen I painted on this model. I painted the screens twice. The first time was absolutely awful, but then someone else painted. Empress Light Ball actually did really good work on a freehand on truly a screen. So I felt like, you know, I had to give it a better shot. Empress Light Ball inspired me. Oops, how did I accidentally paint this? Where did the red paint come from? Apparently, somehow I accidentally got red paint with a magnifying glass. If you look here, I painted this. It's meant to be a wave serpent or like a fire prism or something that she's going to break down off. And so the big one's a wave serpent, the actual body for the other things it's gun. Then that's like meant to be a battlefield. The blue is her troops, the red is enemy, and then the thing of the corner with the yellow is meant to be like a log. Yeah, that's the most I did freehanding before this. Really struggled with it. But, you know, I decided to give it a go here and it worked out. And you can see, looking at the rest of the model, how the painting isn't amazing anyway. And now, one of the things I do have over most people doing this is I do have years of manga experience and digital art experience. I also did watercolors. And I also did years of painting Warhammer to begin with. My Warhammer never really had freehanding in it, though. But I learnt all about, you know, how to paint properly, how to do colour theory, how to make the best of what you've got, of how many pixels you can work with and stuff. So obviously I'm going into this with a lot of experience of how to do art. I'm not an amazing artist. Like a model I made myself. I'll show you the model I originally had, my VTuber model. The one I made myself. And it's... I think it's this one. Is this the old one? This is the old one. It's terrible. This is like the prototype. And then I did work on it within a very limited time frame, but you can see like the massive difference in quality compared to an actual skilled artist doing it. And it's not a terrible model. It's not a terrible attempt. And I did have to paint it, draw it in a very limited time frame. I also painted for cupcakes, I guess. Here's Inquisitor Cupcake. Yay! I didn't paint that gun or the Inquisitor symbol. I just copy and pasted that. Oh. But yeah. So I'm not a super skilled artist. There we go. Also, when I did that model, I'd been out of doing regular art for a while anyway. So. Well, yeah, just give freehanding a go. Get a reference of whatever you want to paint. And just give it a go. Don't try doing uniform shapes though if you do struggle. Like one of the things about the waves, I've made so many mistakes, but it doesn't really matter because it's waves. Like who cares if I put too much white in an area? It's meant to be white anyway. It's meant to be uneven. It can work with you. I mean, I do have a lot of experience of trying to make my shaky hand work, like my shaky hands work for me when doing art, especially when trying like provide textures to a surface or something. Painting trees, it's really, really useful for. And what else? Like things like grass, trees, mountains. Actually, no, I sucked at painting mountains. Yeah. And the other thing is, the tools do help. I'm using a magnifying glass. I'm using a Winsor & Newton Series 7 treble zero brush. Like, compare this to the smallest brush that Games Workshop make. Is this the smallest brush? That's a base. This is the smallest brush that Citadel does. And it's like, you can see the massive difference. Like, this is such a tiny brush by comparison, and it does help. Now, you can do amazing work with those brushes. I've seen the Games Workshop doing other paint tutorials and stuff they do. And they just take a layer brush, and you can watch them paint it. It's like, what the heck? How did you do that with Citadel? And I have been practicing with Citadel layer brushes, and I think it did help. Because I think I used the small brushes as a crux for a while, and then when I learned to paint details using a Citadel brush. Actually, I think one of the best faces and eyes I ever did was using a Citadel layer brush. But once I learned to use them, I then came back to using the Winsor & Newton tiny brushes. It really, really helped make it better. I don't know if I want to paint this bit as waves now. I think I might just highlight it instead. Same with here, put like highlights on. Up here. I think I'll just highlight it. I think I'll just do simple, you know, use the fern highlights, then but go into Baharoth and then go into white. Similar to how we did on like these cloaks and stuff. I think that will look good with the rest of the model. Oh gosh, my back. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry about this. Not been feeling too great today. I was hoping once, because sometimes when I'm not feeling great, I can start streaming and, you know, I get like this extra burst of energy and so on. But instead today, I'm just like, nope, I'm deaded. I'm deaded, but it's fine. We all have your bad days. So let's go over to here. We can look at the blooming schedule. The schedule. Look at it, Cuptle. We got Siege time, so tomorrow we're going to be building a burning chariot and some blue horrors and brimstone horrors, if we got the time for them. We're going to be building some soul grinders and converting them into plague hooks on Tuesday and Wednesday, using lots of modelling putty and green stuff. If you've never seen a plague hook, Google plague hook. They're amazing. Or at least like Forge Road plague hook. Basically, it's just a Nurgle soul grinder, looking extra Nurgly. Then Friday we'll do some Rogue Trader. Saturday, I don't know, depends how I feel. Maybe we'll do some more painting. I'll try doing painting off stream if I've got the chance. I was thinking about if I can finish making the plague hooks over Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe if I've got the energy and time, I can paint them on undercoat from on Thursday, and then we can paint from Saturday and Sunday, because I'm thinking of a paint scheme for I've seen people paint Nurgle, and contrast paints work amazingly on Nurgle things. Like you just get your paint coat down and then you just throw just throw different colours at it all over the place, and it's so amazing looking. We could do something like that, and hopefully like just paint them over 2 streams. Throw a load of rust onto the legs. Oh gosh. But yeah, I think the rest of this, this model, I'll probably finish off stream. Like, I don't think there's any more freehanding I want to do on it. Maybe I'll finish it off stream. Maybe I'll finish it on camera off stream, and then I want to make a short out of this. I'm going to get to LAN to fast forward the streams and edit it all into a short, which I talk over, which I think will be fun. So yeah. But big love hearts to you all. Thank you for coming to the streams today. I hope you've had a fun time. Remember to work hard and play harder. Eat good food, sleep well, dream of cupcakes, but don't eat the cupcakes because a friend's not food. And what else is there? Don't forget to like the stream. Yeah. Take care of yourself, be kind to others and vice versa. Work hard but play hard. I didn't say all of that stuff. I probably did. I'm like, my head is not working very well. And what else? What else do I usually say? Yeah, just goodbye. Love you all. Yeah. Ending the stream now. Smash. I hope that I'll feel better tomorrow. If I don't, I might end up having to cancel the stream. Maybe. We're only building stuff. It should be easy enough.